Canine Physio here. I wanted to jump on today and show you guys another awesome example of circuit training for the canine athlete. So 2 days ago I posted a circuit of a few exercises that you could sort of put together and have a good workout for your dog. Today I wanted to show you another example of what that might look like. So I had an amazing number of questions and responses and interest into circuit training. So when I think of circuit training, guys, basically what I like to do is I like to take 3 to 5 different exercises. I like to put them together in a circuit, complete all the exercises once. I would do that 10 times, and then I would repeat it 3 sets. Okay, so it's 10 repetitions, 3 sets. I like to do a minute sort of water break in between, just to give the dogs a little bit of a chance to have a drink. Now, somebody did ask me yesterday, do we have to use the 10 reps and 3 sets? Is that sort of the cookie cutter approach for all dogs? And it's a wonderful question because no, it is not the same for every dog, and not all dogs are suitable or appropriate to be doing 10 reps, 3 sets of some of the circuits that exist out there. So when I think of a dog that's recovering from an injury, or I think of an older dog that might be having some mobility issues, or I think of a puppy that's just learning some of these foundation behaviors, it is not appropriate in those cases to be doing 10 repetitions and 3 sets. We really have to monitor our own dog to see what they're able to handle and what is appropriate for them. That's why it's so crucial when we're doing any sort of workouts with our dogs, guys, make sure that you're paying attention to how they're responding to the exercises. How is their form? How is their demeanor? Are they excessively panting? Are they getting really tired? These are all things that we have to consider when working at our dogs, because although I have, this ideal sort of, I want 10 reps, 3 sets of everything, that's not necessarily always appropriate for all dogs. So really work to the level and ability of your dog, and don't worry about what other people are doing. So many times we like to compare ourselves to, oh, my friend's dog is doing this and they do it this many times. Don't worry about that, guys. Work to whatever level your dog is able to handle. And especially the puppies out there, guys, let's not overwork the puppies, please. With circuit train, I let them do, maybe 2 times around the circuit. And then I would just leave it at that. But more often than not with puppies, I like to train those individual pieces first. So that's the other thing. If your dog is completing the circuit and they're just not doing it right, they've never seen it before, don't worry about going through the whole circuit. You can break it down to its individual components to make the dog more successful. So if I'm doing a circuit with a dog and there's 5 new exercises that this dog has never seen, I'm never going to put them all together into a circuit and just expect that my dog should go it and do it. I will layer it back, break it down, work on those individual pieces, and then I might put it all together. But we want our dogs to be successful. Canine conditioning has a ton of benefits, but it's also really fun. It's fun for us, it's fun for the dogs. So if they keep getting things wrong and we're not rewarding because they don't have the right form or posture, just like you would any of your training, guys, layer back, work on the individual components, and then come back to the circuit. That's the nice thing about circuit training, is you can always break it down. So today what we're going to run through is a circuit that I love to do with my dogs. It's the one that I worked on them today. I'm finding myself, as I'm sure many of you are, with a little bit more extra time on my hands these days and literally no classes to go to. So I have definitely upped how much conditioning I've been doing with my dogs. So today I'm going to be using Shades. Shades is my 16-month-old Sheltie. You met 50 in the last circuit. So Shades is going to demonstrate this one. So you don't need much equipment for this one at all, guys. All we need is a round disc at the start of it. You could have a round disc, you could have a canine bone. If you want something stable instead, because you were just starting to learn this, I would use some balance foam pads. Where are these? These are great, guys. Amazon has them. They're like $22, $23 depending on where you are. But this is another great find. You can also use that at the front if you'd like. And then we need 2 poles, okay? I'm using the Cavaletti sets here, but you don't have to. You could just get some Dollar Stone or some cones. Or another great idea to raise cones up, guys, that I like is you just get a pop can, okay? Put it on its side and literally put the pole on top of it. That way it doesn't move at all, so if the dog does happen to tick it, it's not falling off and you don't have to constantly reset, which is one of my biggest pet peeves sometimes with cone work. So you can use that. If you have cones with holes, just do that. It's not about how high the pole is, guys. Ideally, I want it lower than the height of their hock. Literally like 1 to 2 inches It's not about the height with this exercise. It's just used as a tool to help with body awareness. I don't want it any higher. I don't want them jumping the pole or anything like that. So keep things really low. If you have a senior dog that you're using this exercise for, just put the pole directly on the ground. Again, guys, it's not about the height for that, okay? The other thing that I want you guys to think about is before you start to condition your dog, you always want to make sure that you put them through a proper warm-up. We never want to go into canine conditioning with their muscles cold. We want to make sure they're properly warmed up, their heart rate is elevated, so that they're ready to perform. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get Puppy Shades warmed up, and then we're going to come back and show you the circuit. Hey guys, welcome back. I've just finished warming up Shades. He's just finishing up his game of tug. He just loves this game. Come here, buddy. Good boy. So remember, before you do any sort of conditioning with your dogs, make sure that they're nicely warmed up, heart rates are elevated, and their bodies are warm. All right, puppers, out. Good boy. Okay, so let's review this circuit today. Always make sure you've got your cookies ready and that you're set to go right before your conditioning. You never want to get into your circuit and then realize you have no food on you. That's never a good thing. Okay, so what we're going to do to start with this circuit is toss a treat, just to sort of get them ready. And number one, we'll be putting their paws up on this round disc. Now, you'll notice when I do this, I intermittently reward. So sometimes I'll reward after 2 seconds, sometimes I might reward after 6 seconds. I'm always going to switch it up because I never want the dog to anticipate what my next move might be. So, exercise number one is just front feet targeting and maintain a little bit of endurance. Always make sure when their front feet are elevated that you are rewarding with head above spine. We don't want to fall into rewarding with their head low. See how then he starts to roach, his posture's all changed. It's really not a pretty picture. So we want to make sure if front feet are elevated, that head is always above their spine. Okay, next exercise that we're going to ask for is a sit. Good boy. Well done, buddy. So it's a tuck sit. They're bringing their back feet in. Front feet are staying on the disc. See, he's reading my mind. Sit, please. Good boy. And they're just hanging out there. Again, you can change sort of your reward based on your dog. Some dogs that are a little bit faster paced here might not be able to sit for this long. So just work to the ability of your dog. Number 3 exercise is going to be the kickback stand. Stand. Yay! Good boy. That was very good. Again, rewarding with that head above spine. From here, I'm going to ask him to target. Perfect. Now, rear feet are elevated, so I'm going to make sure I'm rewarding with head below spine. We just want to make sure that tie line. Look what happens when I reward him up here. A, he wants to go into a little bit of a sit, but B, I don't love what happens at his back versus here where that's maintained a lot nicer, okay? From here, I will go into the rock back sit. So that's where his front feet are walking back and he literally rocks back into a sit. So rear feet shouldn't move. He's actually just come off here on the side, so I'm just going to reposition him. Target. Good boy. Well done. Good. And let's go back into the sit. Good boy. And stand. So once we've done the rock back sit, now what I'm going to ask him to do is release from this position and go and circle the cone and come back with his front feet in the front feet targeting position. Break, right. Pause up. Yes, good boy. Very clever. Notice, guys, how I had to actually release him for that rear foot targeting position. He's so conditioned to just maintain position until I say something that I often have to release him. So I'll just show you that again. Target. Good boy. Well done. Break. Right. Pause up. Good boy. If they're swinging a little bit too much, I may just apply a little bit of body pressure to get him into a better position. Uh-oh, what happened? Pause up. Good boy. Well done. So let's review this circuit one more time and the different components of it. So number 1 is going to be front feet targeting. Pause up. Good boy. Yes. I like to put a verbal on these guys. Once your dog understands front foot targeting or front feet targeting behavior or rear feet targeting behavior, I will put a verbal on it. So for my front feet, it's pause up. Then I'm going to ask for a sit. Good boy. Good boy. Well done. Stand. Yeah, we get the kickback stand there. Then we'll ask for target. Yes, good boy. Well done. Feet are a little narrow. I'm not sure I love that. So what I might do, if I don't like something that I see, I will always sort of reset my dog. Break. So I'll just toss back. I will ask for a target. Good. And that's better. I'm much happier with that. So again, guys, if you don't like something you see, you can choose to continue or you can just reset it, which is more what I like to do. Then we go into the rock back sit. Good boy. Only those front feet should be moving. Back feet stay nice and still. Stand. Good boy. Well done. Good job, kid. Good boy. Break. Right. Pause up. Yes. Good boy. Well done. I know those ones are kind of small. Good. And sit. And wait. So that's today's circuit that I used with my dogs. Okay. With respect to turning left and with respect to turning right, if your dog does not have left or rights, that's absolutely fine. You can do a little bit of luring. I would also work on one side at a time. So instead of doing one to the left, one to the right, and back and forth, if your dog is new to this, I would make sure to just work to the right and then work just to the left, and then you can start piecing it together, alternating sides. So with this circuit, if your dog has never seen any of these movements before, break it down to the individual components, okay? So if we look at what we have here, we have front feet targeting, we have a tuck sit, we have a kickback stand, we have a rear foot target, we have a rock back sit, and then we have a turn to come back on and find balance. If your dog has never seen these things, guys, never seen these behaviors before, don't throw them all together in a circuit. Work each individual one and then throw it together. It's just gonna be much more successful for you and the dog and make it a little bit more enjoyable than trying to fight your way through all the training of it, because let's be honest, guys, there's a lot of training that comes with conditioning. And that's probably the number one things that many of my clients have said is that, wow, this does take a lot of work and it does take a little bit of training, and that's okay. I love training my dogs. I love working with them. So if it takes a little bit of extra time and we don't get through the full circuit, that's okay. So the other thing too is if your dog happens to be having a bad day and they can't put 2 and 2 together for whatever reason, scrap the circuit, go back, work the individual components, working on posture and form and that sort of thing, and then put them back into the circuit. So don't feel like you have to rush through to get to the circuit. Again, every dog's gonna be a little bit different about how they go about it. And with you guys, if you're finding your dog is having any difficulties at all, just layer back as we would with any of our training, right? Whether it's agility train, obedience train, whatever sports that you happen to be in out there, if you run into a training difficulty, you don't just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. You think to yourself, okay, how can I layer this back to make it easier for the dog, to make them more successful, to help them to learn better? Canine conditioning is really no different that way.